New HuffPost YouGov poll out on the death penalty, and I found the results a little interesting. 62% of Americans favor the death penalty for people who are convicted of murder. Only 26% are opposed. The specific breakdown here is 87% of Republicans support it, 58% of independents support it, and 51% of Democrats support it. So you have a majority in every single category. They also say that lethal injection was the most agreed upon way of carrying it out. 54% of the population in total support it, 44% of Democrats, 50% of independents, and 79% of Republicans. And here's the only good news in the entire poll, in my opinion. Only 11% want executions to be slow and painful. So more people don't want it to be slow and painful. If you got to kill somebody, you got to do it fast. But then here's another awkward twist in the poll. When asked which is worse, execution or life in prison, 30% of respondents said execution, while 52% said that life in prison without the possibility of parole. So they're saying that they think, that's harsher on people. Life without parole is harsher, but they are still in favor of the death penalty, which I find this entire poll kind of weird. Because if you look at the opinion of the rest of the modern industrial world, it's the exact opposite. Most people in Europe are like, what? The death penalty? I mean, what are we in 1754? Are you serious? No, of course we're not in favor of the death penalty. So it's an interesting kind of dynamic here where the U.S., I don't know what the right word for it is. I mean, if I'm being harsh, the right word for it is primitive, that the U.S. is still primitive on this topic. Not advanced is another way of saying it, or if I'm being kind, you say just a difference of opinion. But here's the thing, man, and this is the main point about this, or there's a few main points. But number one, the Eighth Amendment to the Constitution protects people from cruel and unusual punishment. Okay, this is by definition cruel because you're killing somebody. I can't imagine anything more cruel than that. If you want to take the opposite position, be my guest, but you'll sound like a dumbass. And it's also unusual because a majority of the countries in the civilized world don't do it anymore, don't have the death penalty. I mean, we're in league with like Pakistan and Saudi Arabia when it comes to the death penalty. The other countries that do what we do is a really tiny list of people that you wouldn't want to be on that list with, in any other category. And also remember, they just stopped making, the company in Europe that made the lethal injection formula, they stopped making it. Because they're like, it's the thing of the past, the death penalty. We don't want to sell this anymore. We don't want to make money off this, so we're going to stop making it. So now in the U.S., we're experimenting with all different types of formulas that might kill people or might not kill people, but they've been doing it. We had the horror story the other day of the guy who was alive for 26 minutes after they gave him his new formula for the lethal injection. Is that what we want to do? We really want to do that? I mean, we want to be guilty of the same kind of barbarism that we're killing people for? That's a massive contradiction. It's, we look kind of silly when we do something like that. But then also, remember, and this is my main reason why you can't be in favor of an institutional death penalty, is that we kill the wrong people sometimes. We get the wrong people. So if you say, with that fact existing, if you say I'm in favor of the death penalty, you are saying I'm fine with the state murdering an innocent person every once in a while. It is what it is. But are you really okay with that? Because if you're okay with that, that's not much different than just being a murderer. Am I wrong? I mean, that is what murder is. So you're saying, well, in some situation, sure, why not murder somebody who's innocent? Why? We don't have to do that. There's nothing written in the rules of nature written into concrete. You have to be in favor of this. That's ridiculous. So here's my thing, man, and this will be the final point. I'm the type of person where I get it philosophically. In fact, if you ask me, theoretically, Kyle, do you believe in the death penalty? Or philosophically, do you believe in the death penalty? I say, fuck yeah, man. I mean, there's so many people who I would enjoy watching them die. That might make me sound like a callous asshole, but it's true. I mean, people who have, killed dozens of children with no remorse whatsoever. We did a story on the show about a guy who would stab little girls to death, and that's the only time he could ever reach sexual arousal is when he's stabbing little girls to death. Seriously. He would orgasm while stabbing little girls. There's another person who would kill a child, cut out their intestines and eat it, and then try to flush the rest of the stuff down the toilet. He got caught because his pipes got clogged. Okay, these are people, I think they should die. I have no problem with them dying. In fact, I'll cheer as they fucking die, okay? But the problem is, while yes, people like that exist, and they should theoretically and philosophically be killed, and I would enjoy that, we can't have a system in place where we make sure we always get the right people. And since we sometimes get the wrong people, you have to, unfortunately, you have to scrap the system. Because look, if you follow it logically, then, well, somebody who murders gets the death penalty. But if the death penalty itself murders somebody, then shouldn't the death penalty get the death penalty? That's the paradox of the death penalty, and there's no way around it.